welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Over 6,000 Nigerians in the diaspora are evacuated home by NDDC, that is the Nigerian in the Diaspora's Commission. Attorney General of the Federation frustrated Diezani's extradition to face charges in Nigeria, says Mago. And you have 48 hours to list lawmakers involved in contract scam. And that is coming from the House of Rep Speaker, Bajabiamila. Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. We take a short break before giving you the body of the stories, as we have the head of the media of NDDC and the national comrade of Arewa in the studio. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. We have in the studio Abdul Rahman. He is in the studio of TV, and he is the head of media and public relations and protocol of Nigerian in the Diaspora Commission, NDDC. Rahman, you are welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much.
This is your first time I've been trying to get your attention.
It has not been easy. Yes. We are there doing some other work.
All right, welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Also, we have the president of Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, Comrade Dantata Salihu, who was in the studio here yesterday, with us again today. Comrade Salihu, you are welcome to TVN.
A very pleasant morning to you, erudite anchor person, and Nigerians at large and abroad.
Thank you, sir. Welcome. Now, you can join us from anywhere in the world to contribute via our phone lines displayed on your screen, and also our Zoom handle as shown with the password already displayed on the screen, especially if you have a complaint to make to NDDC from your country of base. And we'll go into the first story before Abdul Rahman will react, and the comrade in the studio is all about the evacuees and what NDDC is doing to possibly evacuate Nigerians in the diaspora home safely without any iota of COVID-19. So I think we have that story so far, that over 6,000 Nigerians in the diaspora that were stranded, having one issues or the other, have been evacuated home. And we know that more to that are dear. Some of you are even not known at where you are by the NDDC, but perhaps with this presentation, you can get to reach us. The boss of the head of media of NDDC is here with us to give you an assistance to answer some of your questions. And that is why we make it an open dialogue today. So far, we will take the background reportage of what came out of the press statement by the chairman of the Nigerian in the Diaspora, talking about Abike Dabiri Erewa. Please enjoy it. Evacuation of Nigerians in the diaspora due to COVID-19. According to the UN Migration Data Portal, there were 1.3 million immigrants from Nigeria in 2017, which represented 0.6% of the total population. The net migration is 300,000 in the last 5 years. Unofficial reports state that there are about 15 million Nigerians in the diaspora. Amidst this COVID-19, 6,317 Nigerians evacuated from abroad, according to the Nigerians in the Diaspora's chairman, Abike Dabiri Erewa. The Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission says 6,317 Nigerians have been evacuated from abroad. The NIDCOM chairman, Abike Dabiri, disclosed this on Tuesday during a press conference ahead of National Diaspora Day celebrations on July 25th. The evacuation, carried out in collaboration with the agency, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Nigerian missions around the world, comes on the heels of the COVID-19 pandemic that has affected the globe. Giving a breakdown of the figures, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, has the highest evacuees with 1,405 persons, followed closely by the United Kingdom with 831, and the United States with 806 Nigerians, stranded Nigerians repatriated in 3 batches. Other countries where Nigerians have departed include Saudi Arabia, 117 from there. Egypt has 372. France has 70. India has 540. Turkey has 324. Sudan has 365. Uganda and Kenya has 172, respectively. Also not left out are Senegal, 17 from there. Pakistan, 56. Egypt 102, China 268, Malaysia and Thailand 247, Lebanon 147, Canada 51, South Africa 324, and Ghana 205. Welcome back. That was actually the background report we had on NIDCOM so far, and the head of media is here, Balogun Abdurrahman. I think I got the name correctly.
Yeah.
Now, going straight to the point of discussion, how could you say that your intervention and evacuation has been so far?
Well, we thank God. We started this operation since, the process since April. We got series of complaints and write-up and letters, petitions from all over the world that we came for conference, we are here for one thing or the other, we are students and we are standard. Other countries have been evacuating their citizens. What is Nigeria doing and all the rest? So we were directed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, who incidentally is a member of PTF.
Okay.
Because everything has been collapsed to the PTF,
the Presidential
Task Force on COVID-19. We were directed to open a portal. So we opened a portal whereby we send to them where you log in all your details.
Okay.
The country you are in, your passport number, what you are doing there, do you still have a valid visa, or you need some exit visa or something like that. So we did all that, and then people started filing in, and amazingly, we discovered that almost 10,000. We received almost 10,000 people who want to come back.
Okay.
All over, at least about 73 countries.
Okay.
So the evacuation proper started, I think, in May. Gradually started bringing them in, and don't forget, we don't have a national carrier. So
okay, so you need a national carrier.
We know that
Air Peace.
I'm just saying we don't have a national carrier. So we have to contract a private. I don't want to mention name. We have to contract a private, negotiate with some private airlines, among which you have mentioned, among which some of them are even foreign airlines that assisted in the evacuation. Even though each evacuee pay for their transportation back home and some other thing, and then once you come back, you will be quarantined, isolated for 14 days. It's compulsory. We listed all these things for them, and you have to be negative, and then to COVID-19, and then before you are allowed to go.
Okay.
So that's how the exercise exercise has been so far.
Okay, so far you said over 10,000 applied.
Yeah, yes.
Both those those that we could call diasporas and those who are immigrants. Were they collectively applying to the country?
You see, there are some diaspora. When you say diaspora, those are people who are resident in those countries.
Yes.
And then for one reason or the other, maybe coincided with the time they just want to come home.
Okay.
Some of them equally apply. They are free to apply.
Okay.
But majorly, the evacuation was for those who went for a conference, maybe hospital. You have some health challenges, went for clinicals or whatever, and students, business. Those are the people the thing cut off more.
Okay. So 6,317. So
it's even more than that. It's more than that.
The one on record. So
yes,
far.
yes.
6,317.
Yes, yes.
So are you having challenges bringing the rest? It's been 3 months or more than that.
Of course, I've just told you one of the challenges. We don't have a national carrier.
Okay.
Other countries that are doing it, they don't send their own planes. Saudi Arabia has more than 200 airlines. 200 planes. Malaysia Airlines and all the rest. Ethiopia, you know all of them. Where's Nigeria Airways? So plane that fly airpiece, as I think is 12 or whatever, and some of them are on lease. So those are some of the challenges.
Okay. Could you tell us a little about these NIDCOM events and remittance abroad and at home?
Okay. Well, the remittances, it has been argued that after oil, the next thing that is yielding revenue for Nigeria is remittances from the Nigerian diaspora.
Okay.
And that's why people are calling for that more attention to the Commission and Nigerian diaspora that they needed to get some other benefits. But you know, of course, this money is not coming to us. You know, I know the money doesn't come to us. It comes through CBN. These are money that, okay, Mr. Felix, you are in US. When you are going, please, this $100 you help me give my mommy, you help me give my brother, or I'm doing one housing project. You do that. Those ones are not even captured. But the one that go through the foreign exchange are the one that we are talking about, that we are saying is over $25 billion. Yes. But I'm afraid.
Dollars, not naira.
Dollars, yeah. I'm afraid the thing might be affected this year because of global recession and all the rest. But as at December 2019, according to World Bank record, remittances from Nigeria is over $25 billion. It's the third largest in the world after India and I think China also.
So could we say that this fund have been seized by CBN, or it will get
It's not seized. The funds dovetail in the economy.
Okay.
I'm just saying CBN is the government bank.
Okay.
When you want to transfer official foreign money, it must go through CBN.
Okay.
But aside that, we have some other ones that are not captured. Nobody will even know the figure. If you go to, let's say, South Africa, and you have a friend that says, where you are going, please take this round, help me give my mom. Or if he goes to UK, so I say, take this pound, give to my brother. All those ones, CBN will not know about it. So far, it's less than $10,000. CBN will not know about it. And so a lot of these remittances have been coming in one way or the other. And then there are some that you cannot even quantify. Recently, they brought in equipment worth 45 billion naira of medical equipment to support the PTF. Just 2 weeks ago, the Nigerian diaspora.
I saw it.
Yes,
I saw,
so many other things.
It.
There was a time they came on medical mission and they did ask surgery for for Nigerians who are suffering from that, free of charge.
I saw
And
the
this is
PPE yesterday, and it was.
And this is something that one operation will cost about 5 million naira. They did for about 103. So they've been coming. There are some other supportive measures that they've been doing, and and by this Saturday, July 25, which has been declared Diaspora Day, we will all congregate online to discuss about the issue.
I think I will join you people too.
Why not? Just register and then you are on.
I saw it yesterday, and I decided to pick this topic because number one, another thing again, let me not call it number one, is the fact that you have focal offices
we do
in the country.
Yeah,
I think it's about 28 states.
Yeah, that have keyed in now. So if you have any issue now, like I was coming in here, someone said you started in home. I said, which state are you from? He said, well, my passport is from Ondo State, but I'm from Ebonyi. So I said, okay.
So the focal person of the state.
So I'll just transfer all our issues to the person in Ebonyi.
Okay.
Who now? So that has. We coordinate and we get it done.
All right. Anyway, comrade, I don't think this is what you would like to join your opinion, although I brought you here so that the issue of Magu and Akpabio, we could discuss it since we couldn't end it yesterday. However, if you have anything to say about NITCOM and their operation, you can impute your opinion, sir.
Well, like my very good brother here, I think part of the problem in this country is a problem where you have maybe Ezekiel doing what ought to be done out of selflessness, determination, and patriotism. And Aminu, who already has all the subvention, allocation, is feeling that if I allow Ezekiel to come to be, he might one day take over my job. I am not afraid of anybody because what is affecting this country, I've once written on it when I was a bureau chief of Latif Jakande's paper, Daily News, that I said political rivalry and interests are responsible for underdevelopment, and that is why I describe it as arrested development.
Okay.
If you look at NITCOM, this was an initiative by somebody from the brokers who destiny beckoned on, became a lawmaker in the lower chamber, and used our years to ensure that something comes like that. Agreed that we have high commissions abroad, we have embassies and what have you, but I have been a visitor to many countries. Let me tell you, my erudite, if you go to even have access to some head of chancelleries, charge the affairs or high commissioners or ambassadors, it takes you as if you are seeing the president. And the responsibility why the foreign affairs machinery employ them to be ambassadors and agents that will be a link between Nigerian citizens living in these countries and the country is to support and defend our interests. But what happens? You see some of them going even outside the diplomatic agreements with world bodies to even do certain businesses at the detriment of Nigerians. That even Nigerians that are living in some of these countries, we have about 200 countries across the world, they find it difficult to even have liaison and even rapport with them. So that was why when parastatals like NITCOM came, a lot of us that are activists and people that love to hold the fort and defend the rights of people were happy. But today what is happening? It is even very surprising if you ask, since the inception of this sensitive parastatal that is supposed to be funded by foreign affairs, what has been their allocation and others. So these are questions I'm throwing to our father, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari. Now coming to issue of Magu that you asked.
Let me take that story, then you can now continue from there. But however, your contribution to the NITCOM story is wonderful. Thank you very much, Comrade Dantata. Now we'll go to that second story where Magu accused the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, that he frustrated Diezani's extradition to Nigeria to face charges. Please take a good listening and watching pleasure.
Ibrahim Magu says Abubakar Malami frustrated Diezani's extradition. Ibrahim Magu has absolved himself of any blame over the delay in the extradition of Diezani Alisi Madueke to face trial in Nigeria. The former EFCC acting chairman was previously accused of delaying the extradition of the former petroleum minister to face prosecution in Nigeria. However, Magu said the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, is the one who delayed Diezani's extradition to Nigeria. The suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, has told the presidential panel that the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, frustrated the extradition of Diezani Alisi Madueke to face trial in Nigeria. Magu had been previously accused of refusing to cooperate with crime-fighting authorities in the United Kingdom to facilitate the return of the former petroleum minister Diezani Alisi Madueke to face prosecution in Nigeria for alleged corruption. But the former acting chairman of the EFCC told a probe panel investigating allegations of corruption against him that it was his accuser, Malami, who was actually frustrating the extradition of Diezani to Nigeria. Premium Times and, of course, the Nigerian News report that Magu said the EFCC had made several requests to the UK authorities through the AGF's office demanding the extradition of the former petroleum minister so she can face charges in Nigeria. He said Malami's office never communicated Diezani's extradition request to the UK authorities. According to Magu, several requests through the AGF for the extradition of other high-profile Nigerian fugitives abroad have not been responded to by Malami. Meanwhile, Wahab Shitu, legal counsel of Ibrahim Magu, has expressed belief that his client will scale through the floodgate of allegations leveled against him. Shitu made this known on Monday, July 20th, adding that Magu and Nigerians should expect positive surprises from the Justice Ayo Salami-led presidential panel probe. Speaking on the heels of a comment made by Garba Shehu, senior media aide to President Muhammad Buhari, Shitu assured that Magu will come out clean from the investigation. In a related development, Malam Buba Galadima has spoken about the corruption allegation and trial of Magu, describing the trial of the suspended EFCC boss as mere propaganda. The Yobe-born politician said Magu's suspension was long overdue. According to him, the embattled anti-corruption sheriff's crime was previously overlooked because he was kowtowing to the cabals in Buhari's cabinet.
Welcome back. That was a story that where Magu is kind of alleging or accusing the AGF that he frustrated Diezani Alisi Madueke's extradition to Nigeria in order to face charges in the country. And Comrade Salihu Dantata, on behalf of the Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, you can always give us your opinion. Is this a conflict of power, or let me say clash of the titan, or a kind of egocentrism in the President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet, where the EFCC boss, former boss now, and the AGF are always trying to expose one thing or the other before the public? What do you think is actually happening?
Well, if I have to say it, I wouldn't say there hasn't been clash of interests maybe between supervising ministers and their supposed parastatals, because I can vividly recall during the Abba Moro days in Ministry of Interior, where as the supervising minister in charge of civil defense, immigration, prison and fire service, they had problem with about 2 comptroller generals due to overzealousness and lack of subordination to the minister. Constitutionally, when you talk about a minister, let me give you an insight. You take the Ministry of Police Affairs, Defense and Interior, for example. It is expected that Minister of Defense has some level of right to supervise over the service chiefs like Chief of Army Staff, Naval, Air, as well as Chief of Defense, even though the President and Commander-in-Chief, who is the Commander-in-Chief, has the supreme order on them. But the Minister of Defense has such powers. Same thing applies to Minister of Police Affairs. You cannot say that Minister of Police Affairs cannot supervise the police force headquarters as well as Police Trust Fund and the Police Service Commission.
So in this case,
I think the AGF Malami was right, and I'll bring you to why it's right on the decisions it's taken. And the decisions Malami is taking, I'm not trying to hold brief for anybody, because we want to present the record straight, because I have been agitating for the need to checkmate, especially most of these two anti-graft agencies. If you look at the nomenclature of the Attorney General's Office and Ministry of Justice, he has the constitutional right to supervise over the National Human Rights Commission, Legal Aid Council, as well as ICPC and EFCC. Why is the EFCC becoming an issue? These are the areas Nigerians did not ask questions. And I'll bring you an example. Even yesterday, by the glory of God, another service clash will have come to be, because yesterday at the headquarters of Directorate of Road Traffic Services, they are called VRO in Abuja, you got, after some seconds, about 3 convoy of a well-kitted strike force of the Department of State Services. And what was the issue? The issue was that wife of one of the directors was arrested by the mobile court instituted by the minister on this COVID-19. I just want to give you a prologue.
Okay.
And now, what happened? The directors came to the DRTS headquarters, but due to lack of understanding in some of the followership, even though at the end of the day, the director, Ali Wadata Bodinga, and some of the directors from DSS were able to settle it. But what I'm trying to say is that with all the retreats and what have you that is done, sometimes you see that if somebody is right, somebody is wrong. So what is happening between AGF and the EFCC boards, even though some people are alleging there is the sharing formula, where is the evidence of the sharing formula? Because I read a story that was saying even part of the auctions, forfeited properties, versus and what have you, that initially the going was right. But if you are talking in democracy, you have to support them with evidence. In the Senate committees, we have committees that supervises the EFCC.
Yes.
We have also in the House of Reps. As anybody, any critic that is trying to say that Malami as the AGF is also trying to cover some glutes. Because if you are talking about Diezani, why did Magu wait until now when the Salami panel had to invite him to come to banquet hall of the State House to answer questions before he brought out issue of Diezani? Because some quarters even have it that the going between Malami and Magu was good at the beginning. Itato was good. So it was when I think some civil society and media analysis called the Attorney General to order that where then is your power as Attorney General and Minister that supervises EFCC to allow for ministers. And I was privy to a security report where they said since inception of Magu as EFCC chairman, no promotion has taken place. The EFCC is divided into different cadres. There are those that are brought from the police to man certain areas. There are detectives trained in the EFCC Institute. Then there are lawyers. There are many complaints from the plainclothes who are the detectives as well as the lawyers that Magu, even though it remains an allegation, satisfied the interests of only police officers that are servicemen. Mind you, Magu is also a substantive police officer. Yeah. Then again, there were many frivolous allegations that there were even 2 of his brothers. One is in ISOS office in Ikoyi, the other one here. They are all police officers. That they were even though it remains allegation. So I think whatever anybody will say.
The point here, I'm trying to bring you back to the issue of Diezani. Diezani, the whole world knows how much was taken by Diezani
during the Jonathan administration.
Yeah, during the Jonathan administration, and as revealed by Magu himself. Magu revealed the looted funds by Diezani and how he even stashed goods and houses in the United States of America. So what actually stopped her extradition to Nigeria to face charges? This woman now is a commissioner in one of the countries in Europe, and she's supposed to be facing corrupt charges in the country. Rather, we saw that some aspects have been acquitted of her. So don't you see an iota of truth in what Magu is saying against the AGF?
Well, like we know under the law, it is when you are arraigned before a competent judge in any court of jurisdiction, it is only the judges that have the right to assume or presume one guilty or not guilty. As far as I'm concerned, and as a learned person, I believe all the allegations by Magu remains allegation until they are substantiated. The questions Nigeria wants to ask now, whether Diezani was extradited. You see, there are bilateral treaties we are privy to. Okay. Don't forget the Ibori case. It has to be a UK court that had to arraign and prosecute and possibly imprison Ibori. The issues are, once a suspect is out of the shores, I thank God that the need comes of man is here. Once somebody is outside the shores of this country, is above the laws of our land, all we need is intercooperation, and this major cooperation is with the Interpol and EFCC and IPCP. Mind you, even though the Attorney General and Minister of Justice supervises them, they also have their independence.
You need to sign.
And the ironic thing is, my erudite, Magu is a police officer. He's still serving under the police. Who has the cooperation with Interpol? Is the police. I want to tell you, there are even allegations that Magu, even with the current Inspector General of Police, they are not in the same water, because they said he has been defiant to certain people just because he had a certain member of the cabal that is now late that was in support of him, that he never saw anybody as anyone. So the issues are...
But he was doing his job.
Well, I have never been an operative of EFCC. Okay. And I will tell you, I've never been an admirer of Magu, because in this anti-corruption law and the fight, I was among the first resource persons that once said in one of your sister stations that there is corruption in EFCC. And why was I saying that? Because there are certain places they underrate, T-joints and other people, where you get certain privileged information. And I think I've done it for more than 6 months, and the truth is coming out now. So whether he was doing the right thing, mind you, Ribadu's fight against corruption under Obasanjo, Magu has not even done up to, because Ribadu's own was in geometrical form. How did he end? So Magu, whom I once stood for, when Farida Waziri was chairman of EFCC, as the chief superintendent of police, he was once detained as first CID Area 10 because Farida Waziri then wanted Magu to hands off Ibori's case, which he refused. You cannot have any juicy. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers and what have you that I cannot mention their name. So whatever was going on under Magu in EFCC, we were very much aware. And I will give you a vivid example. There is an Australian who had business with somebody from Akpabio, and what happened? His passport was seized, and investigation did not continue after granting him bail till date. Even with this COVID-19, that Australian national was deprived of the opportunity to even go to his country. These are things that happened under Magu there. Most cases, they are supposed to be treated and dismissed immediately, taken to court, and those, even though we don't have specialized courts, but sometimes administratively, he so much believed in his kitchen cabinet, and everybody was not carried along, and Magu cannot allege not to have violated open door policy in administration of the anti-graft law. So the issues are whether Magu was right or not. I think the steps taken by the AGF and the presidential approval is something that has already placed the AGF above him, no matter what anybody will say.
Thank you very much for that response. And Head of Media to NITCOM, perhaps you want to say something in relation to extradition of Diezani and your office especially, and any protocol arrangement or challenges that found in this operation.
Well, it's a matter of law, and it has gone global. And I know President Muhammad Buhari, at the section of his anti-corruption issue, signed so many treaties that has to do with extradition.
Okay.
I remember he signed one in Dubai, one in UK. So I think the ball is still in the court of the Attorney General.
Okay.
Because it is within the purview of the Attorney General. If the Attorney General is having some challenges in this extradition, initially we heard that they're almost through, she will be coming back later because she was sick and so many other things. I think it's still within the ambit of the law. And I don't have the details now, but one thing that I know is that it's within the power and privileges given to the Office of Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we have nailed that story. So the responsibility of extradition to Nigeria is solely that of the AGF.
AGF.
All right. We go into the third story, which is coming from the House of Representatives, giving, of course, Akpabio 48 hours. We have spent some hours out of the 48 hours now to ensure he lists names of lawmakers involved in what the contract scam of the NDDC. Please take a pleasure listening and watching.
Gbajabiamila gives Akpabio 48 hours to publish names of lawmakers awarded NDDC contract. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has given the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, 48 hours from yesterday to publish the names of lawmakers who he alleged were awarded contracts by Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Mr. Gbajabiamila also instructed the minister to make public the details of the contract. Failure to do so, the Speaker said the House will employ the full wrath of the law. Gbajabiamila issued the ultimatum during plenary on Tuesday, a day after the minister claimed that most of the contracts awarded by the NDDC were awarded to lawmakers. Recall that Senator Akpabio had claimed on Monday that the lawmakers were the greatest beneficiaries of NDDC contract. Asked how the lawmakers benefited, he said, "I just told you that we have records to show that most of the contracts in the NDDC are given out to members of the National Assembly." The Speaker, who accused Senator Akpabio of pulling the oldest trick in the book with the claims, believes the minister owes it to the country to publish the names in the interest of transparency. That most of the contracts awarded by the NDDC.
Get ready. Yes. Welcome back. Gentlemen in the studio, I still begin from you, Comrade Dantata Salim. You have heard the rep saying they are going to use the full weight of the law against Akpabio if he refuses to list lawmakers involved in the NDDC contract scam the way he alleged. Do you think that from the 7th to the 8th and the 9th Senate, or 9th National Assembly, that Akpabio actually will have list of contracts given to lawmakers?
Well, my erudite, I'm not alien to the workings in the National Assembly, because in the 7th and 8th Assembly, House of Rep to be precise, the lower chamber, I was a media advisor to a rep member who served for 8 years, and most of the committees they belong to, I think, I liaise with the clerks and what have you to do certain things. You see, people have forgotten history so easily. Don't forget the Aborishade, Minister of Aviation, when he wasn't cleared by the Senate. What happened? He operated as a minister until he was, then again, Aruma Ote, zero allocation, and host of others. You see, this is democracy in action, and that is the beauty of it. And thank God that in both the upper chamber, which is the red chamber, and the lower chamber, which is the green chamber, the majority of them are of the APC. Akpabio is not of PDP. He's also of the APC. That is a job. And there is one thing they are forgetting. Whether Akpabio brings the name or not, the questions Nigerians need to ask National Assembly, is it that chairmen of committees, most standing committees in both the Senate and House of Reps, don't write later to look for favors as regarding job for their constituents and members of the senatorial district, or even contracts? I know for Akpabio as a distinguished, because once a senator, always a senator before he became minister. For him to laugh, spoken that way, is equipped with facts. But the issues are, no matter what, let them not wash their dealt in the open, because they are all protecting the interests of the president, who is of the APC. The issues are whatever goes wrong, the PDP will have a kind of last laugh, because Akpabio is bona fide APC member. Gbajabiamila, Speaker, bona fide APC member. Speaker of Senate, Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, APC member.
Let me bring your attention to this. When you talk about partisanship, is less compared to governance in terms of building democracy. Like you said, the beauty of democracy is that this is coming up now, even under the administration of Buhari, who is an APC member in terms of party affiliation. But now they are representing Nigerians, regardless of party affiliation. They are doing the right thing, exposing corruption, and that is what the president, one of the pillars in his promises, even the blueprint of the administration of the APC is that they are going to fight corruption to the standstill or to the barest minimum. How, I don't want us to relate it to partisanship, because we know that, yes, if it were to be other parties before, they won't do that, but this is change. We promise change, isn't it? The president promised the country, Nigerians, change, and we want to see some corrupt officials, even no matter how big they are placed, those who have crippled the economy of this country, development and infrastructural and social amenities, should see the inside of the prison. I think that is what
well, let me give you an instance. The issues are, no matter what, this exposes their inexperience, lack of cooperation, as well as not living up to their party manifesto. Yes. You see, when in one house you fight, you are giving reasons for the opposition to win the next election. Don't forget, 2023 is on the corner. I'm even doing them a favor now, because whether they like it or not, it is portraying the president as well as his cohorts in both the upper chamber and lower chamber not to be together
in synergy.
And that is the kind of advice we are giving. It doesn't move a nation, because the issues are issues you are supposed to discuss indoor. What happens to the essence of the president appointing National Assembly liaison officers for both the Senate and House of Reps? It is the responsibility that when there are gray areas, there are issues that are untouchable, that these emissaries who are the link between the National Assembly and their person in the villa, they mediate and let it go. So this is demonstrating inexperience. Don't forget the fact that even in United States of America, it happened to Trump, where some of the trusted aides came to be exposing certain things. But mind you, we are in a third world country. It is good for our democracy. That's why I called it democracy in action. Yeah. But it's not healthy for them. I don't belong to any of the parties, but I want to talk as a neutral Nigerian, because I don't know what the future holds for me. But the fact is that you cannot be a lawyer of years of being called to bar, or an engineer that has designed many roads, or an architect or a retired general. You are in the Senate, or you are a minister. For example, Akpabio was 8 years minister. 8 years governor, in Akwa Ibom State, South Nigeria. Destiny beckoned, he became senator, and now he's minister of Niger Delta. So the fact is that by experience and what have you is there. Bajabi Amila, the people in the committee, and also they also have their own experience. So what I'm trying to say now is, whether 48 hours or not, I know for Akpabio to have made such proclamation in the open is equipped with the fact. Whether the documents are there to support it or not, we cannot run away or shy away from the fact that sometimes some senators and House of Reps go and write to look for favors. Even now, if you go on audit of most of the ministries, you will see that whether one day or second day, House of Rep member or senator writes letter to a minister or head of a parastatal to say, please, I'm interested in so thing. Even their constituency projects too, that they are not longer directly in charge. You now know that they only identify where they want those constituency projects. Of recent, when an agent from ICPC was discussing in one of the studio programs, I had to call to further enlighten, because he was trying to say that is corruption. And I was saying that it is their right, because initially, when the democracies came to be in 1999,
they used to give them the fund.
That is it until now. So the issues are, a lot of laymen don't want this fight.
But that is good for the administration of Buhari, that a quarter is now responsible for the implementation of a constituency project on the directive of the lawmakers, isn't it?
Even at that is not being done to logical conclusion, because still majority of the contractors that still execute those constituency projects, they come via the recommendation. And I believe even that one also is corruption.
Anyway, we'll wait for Akpabio. Thanks for that, your take. Yeah, NITCOM head of media, Balogun Abdulrahman. Your take on this ultimatum given to Akpabio by the House of Rep. It is not yet the red chamber. The green chamber has given him 48 hours to list names of lawmakers involved in the contract scam of the NDDC. Do you think the 48 hours is too close, or he should be given more time to find where those files are?
Well, with my little experience, yes. I was in that National Assembly for 14 years.
Okay.
So I know how they operate. This thing started from a motion move on the floor. And it was based on the motion that a committee was set up.
Yes.
And then I don't think it's going to be a party thing.
Okay.
Yes, once I want to disagree with my comrade on that, it's not going to be a party thing. We've had so many probes. We have power probe and all this thing, Melu and all that. It's not a party thing. And you discover that most of the people heading the probe and people that they are probing, they are always in the same party.
Yes.
So that is one. Two is that when you live in a glass house,
you don't trust them.
Now, when they instituted this probe, I'm very, very sure they never knew it's going to turn out to be like this. They never knew. Of course, all are still allegations. Immediately, barely 24 hours after all these allegations, the NDDC, they went all out on social media.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you saw it.
I saw that.
They went all out on social media. And they're already releasing some of these things.
Yes.
They're already releasing some of this. The executive director project, Dr. Cairo Juibu, well, they had to replay a particular section of this thing and mention. He already started mentioning names. He mentioned 2 names. Yes, mentioning names.
And then he said
people they use as their front.
Most culpable are the chairman of the committee.
Yes.
That some of the Senate and the rep, the speaker and the Senate president are not involved or were not aware. But however, we wait for how it unfolds.
Then in addition, I just want to say that it also gives credence to the fight against corruption of Mr. President.
Okay.
It has no negativity on his government.
Okay.
That he even have don't forget, there's also a forensic audit that is going on at the presidency.
Yes, and even the NDDC.
And the NDDC.
And the Nigerian, the Minister of Labor and Gigi has brought another one yesterday to add.
I think
so corruption in expose.
Yes, I think it gives credence that, okay, the man has said there is nobody that will be untouchable. And I think he's working towards that line. Yes. Along the line of his 3 tripod, something on corruption, economy and security. So that's my take on that.
Thank you very much. I must commend gentlemen, for both of you, for coming on Spectacle on Television Nigerian today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, this is where Spectacle will stop today on TVN, and you do well to follow us on our social media platforms. And don't forget I forgot actually to open the phone lines for Nigerians in the diaspora to make your contributions. But if you've watched the program, Mr. Balogun Abdulrahim is always in touch, and he can have the link and then also get to you on whatever statement or whatever you need to tell the commission, the NITCOM. You can drop your www.nitcom.ng or you can drop on this very topic. You go to our website, tvn.news. The team is already live on the website and our social media platform, the Facebook, Television Nigerian. You can watch us, YouTube link, television, our blog to tvn.blog. You can get it. And if you want to get more of the stories, you search for our magazine, our online platform magazine, which is also a tabloid physically, the Nigerian News. The Nigerian News will give you and unfold most of these stories for you to enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I have been Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.